What did David Goggins do to become Goggins? Step by step by step. That's what Joe Rogan asks David right now in this interview. It's 1080 Joe Rogan Experience. Link in the description. I'm Coach Colin, coolest high performance coach in the world. And if you want the absolute best insights to the podcast you love, hit that subscribe button. We're getting into it. Let's hear his explanation.
And that's what you see. That's it.
People need to hear this story. This is an exciting story for people because there's a lot of people out there that feel trapped and they feel stuck and they feel like they can't do anything. This is who they are. You're a guy who felt that exact same way, but figured out how to not be that person and be a person that you would admire. What were the first steps? Like, you had some slips before, right? Because you quit because of the water thing.
Right.
But then when you went back the second time and you decided you're going to lose all that weight and you quit that job, was it just straightforward from there, or were there some days where you just failed and then you picked it back up again?
So my first run, when I decided to lose the weight, I was, like I said, 297. I was about 32% body fat. And my idea was to run 4 miles for my first run. I didn't know how bad it's gonna fucking hurt me. I used to run before I was fat, and I was like, fuck it, I can do this. I ran a 1/4 mile and walked home. I walked home and sat on my couch and cried. I went to my mom's house, who was about maybe 20 minutes down the road, and cried and get in her couch saying, man, I can't fucking do this shit. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I just got somebody pregnant. My life was just fucked. I was making $1,000 a month. My rent was $810 a month. And my mind just kept fucking with me. And kept fucking, you're not good enough, man. This isn't for you, man. These guys are the baddest motherfuckers on the planet Earth. You're not that. And what it was, and it's kind of funny, I was obsessed with Rocky. Rocky 1 in particular. And when I was a kid, I'd come home every day and I watched this fucking show, Rocky. And I would fast forward with the little VHS tapes to round 14. Round 14 fucked me up like nobody's business. Why? The song came on. So when I bought the pull-up record, I listened to the song for 17 hours. It's 2 minutes and 13 seconds. And I'm able to visualize and dream like nobody's business. And I know that I can create a vision that many people can't. And I work for it. So the vision I had was when Apollo Creed beat the fucking shit out of Rocky, beat the shit out of him, he kept fighting. He was a dumb fighter, couldn't read, that was me. Couldn't read, couldn't write, just punchy, everything about him. And Apollo beat the shit out of him. He was in that corner and everybody was saying, stay the fuck down. And him getting up, Apollo Creed raised his arms up in the fucking air, turned around, thought he won the fight. He turns around and sees this guy getting up, and it was the face of Apollo Creed that changed my life. The face of Apollo Creed. It was like, just by that motherfucker getting up, not winning, just by him getting the fuck up, Apollo Creed he was champ, he was the best. Rocky had taken his soul, had literally taken his soul. His head goes down, he looks at him like, what the fuck are you? I wanted to be that, not Rocky. I wanted to be the guy that people looked at. I don't care if you liked me or didn't like, I don't care. But it said, this motherfucker is gonna keep coming after whatever the fuck is in front of him. I wanted that. I wanted that worse than anything in the world. So that is, I kept picturing me falling down and getting up, and every motherfucker that called me nigger, I was dumb. Even myself, I wanted to feel something besides defeat. I wanted to just go the distance. And that going the distance pushed me to a point of where now I go way past the distance.
So you go the first day, you run a 1/4 mile, and then you walk back home, and
right.
you're upset. How do you move forward?
So basically what I did was I came home, and I had a chocolate milkshake. I sat down, and I gave up. I said, this ain't gonna fucking happen, man. I could lose 106 pounds, and I can't even go a 1/4 fucking mile. I started being able to take negative shit and be happy. And this whole, I say what if a lot, it sounds corny and it sounds weak, but it's true. One of the recruiters said there's not many black Navy SEALs. Matter of fact, I was the 36th African-American SEAL in history. It's in over 70 years. Because the fucking water, you know.
Right.
I mean, people get mad at me. It's fucking true. Just get over it. And so I was like, man, what story would it be if my fucking fat, dumb, lying to be friends with people, insecure ass can overcome this shit? And that what if mentality, like that dreamer mentality just would always fuel me. It would just fuel me, man. What if I can be a SEAL, man? What if I can go from running a quarter of a fucking mile, now I run 205 miles. What if I can go? What if I can go? And what if, how would that feel if I'm graduating? Because I'll never forget at the graduation thing I was talking about, 224, like the video I sat down and watched. This commanding officer stood up and he said to the graduation guys who are graduating buds, like 18 of them, he said, we live in a society where mediocrity is often rewarded. And he went on to say something about these men detest mediocrity. And I wanted to be a man that detests mediocrity. It got me in a lot of trouble in the SEAL teams and going forward in my life because I started looking down on people for not going hard as fucking shit. And I started to create different things, but that's for a different day. But I just believed that, my whole mind changed.
That is a problem that a lot of people who work hard do have. You get angry at people who don't work hard to the point where you want to insult them. You want to smack them. And it's really because you're scared of seeing that in yourself.
Yeah, that's probably the truth. That's probably the truth. So I guess a lot of times in my life I would see people and it probably was a direct reflection of who I was. And I would get mad at them, but in reflection, it's probably just getting mad at myself. Yeah,
that's for me, 100%. When I see people that are half-assing things, I get terrified of seeing that in myself, and I get mad at them.
Right.
And it's not a good way to handle it.
No.
But it's natural because you're just terrified of seeing that trait.
Right. And it cost me.
So you come back, you do the quarter mile,
right?
You walk back home. How do you regroup?
So what I did, I sat down there and I put Rocky in. I got my milkshake, put Rocky. I said, you know what? I was big time in Rocky and Platoon. Why Platoon? I love to see people who were getting beat down, and there's scenes. There's scenes that just drove me, and people in my Hell Weeks, I was in 3 of them, they'd always hear me singing these songs, humming these songs in torturous situations when everybody's quitting this fucking code. I would be somewhere gone. Somewhere fucking gone, and somewhere fucking dark as shit. There's a scene in Platoon when Barnes shoots Elias, and they think Elias is dead, and the choppers are taking off, and Charlie Sheen's asking, Tom Berenger, where's Elias? Where's Elias? William Dafoe. Oh, I found him back there dead somewhere. And through the woods, the Viet Cong is chasing Elias through the woods, and they're shooting him in his fucking back. And all he wants to do is get to the fucking chopper. He's getting shot in his back. He's getting up. He's getting shot in his back. He's getting up. And you see this guy just fighting. I love the fucking guy who just fucking fights. And so I put these things in as reminders that you're going to have to fucking suffer, man. This fucking .25, man, you're going to have to fucking suffer to go from this fat, insecure motherfucker to one of the best guys on the planet Earth. This journey is going to take something that is going to be incomprehensible to most people. And these different visualizations, how I visualize in my self-talk, it became so nasty and dirty that I almost liked the fact that I went .25. So it became from being defeated to like, man, all right, motherfucker, maybe tomorrow we can go .75. It just became this different mindset. I turned negatives into positives. So I would take it like, who would even think about doing this? So I would sit on my couch saying, who at 297, who can't fucking swim that great, who's scared of the fucking water, would have the fucking balls? Who had the balls to fucking man up, quit a job, and go and just put everything on himself? So it's how I started talking to myself and putting myself in a whole different category, and that would fuel me the next day, and I just kept using that as fuel. No one would do this shit. No one would do this shit. You're the baddest motherfucker around. You're the baddest motherfucker ever lived. And I just kept fueling me with the right kind of message that I needed to hear that I was never telling myself. And through time, it became reality to myself.
Man. Goggins. Man. What if? That is the question of this video. What if you moved past your drug addiction? What if you decided to stop drinking? What if you decided to start going to gym every day? What if you confronted your parents? What if you broke up with that toxic chick that you're with? Man, what if? What if you lost 100 pounds, right? What if you decided to be more confident? What if you decided to get a different job because fuck that manager that you fucking hate? Like, what if? Man. And he's a testament to how powerful that question is. What if? And he just decided to say, what if I could become this guy? And now he's David Goggins. Like, every time you see him on social media, every time you see him now and he's running, every time you see him on Joe Rogan, it's all because he asked that question, what if? And then stepped in to what the what if could possibly be. You know? Oh my God, I love it. I'm so glad I decided to go back and check these episodes out, man. And Joe looks young, eh? What happened to Joe? What is this, like 4 years ago? 4 or 5 years ago? This guy aged, man. I think it's because he doesn't shave anymore. But yeah, man. Whew, jeez, I love it. And then also the part that he said about putting that positive message into his head, you know? I'm the baddest motherfucker there is. Nobody's doing this, you know? I have a buddy, my buddy Rob, and he has a mountain that he runs up every morning. He's like Cam Hanes. He's really like Cam Hanes. He doesn't realize it, but he's a lot like Cam Hanes. But he runs up this mountain every morning, and he said pretty much the same thing. He was like, nobody's doing this. He's like, it's 5 a.m. and I'm running up this mountain. Nobody else is doing this. And he says it as he's doing it because he's like, no one else is here. And like now I think, I don't know if he does it all the time, but he has a big chain. I think it's like a big like 50 pound, 45 pound chain that he just has around his neck. And he's like, nobody else is here. Nobody else is doing this. And it's like, you really do you gotta pump yourself up, and not in a fake way, but in a real way. Like some people pump themselves up, but they don't take what they're saying to themselves seriously. You got to take it seriously. Like, he took it seriously. He was telling himself he's the baddest man on the planet. And now there are a few people who won't say when they're introducing him that he's the baddest man on the planet. You know what I mean? Like, I love this. I love it. And the fact that at the beginning, I'm talking about the end of the video, but at the beginning of the video, what did he say? I tried to run a quarter mile. I couldn't do it. And I started crying. I went home and cried. Like, think about who we're talking about. It's David Goggins. He went home and cried on the couch. Michael Jordan face. Crying. Snot bubbles. Goggins. If he can ask himself at that stage, if he could ask himself the question of what if, and it turns into this, what could you do? Think about who you are and the downfalls and the hardships that you've had, where you went and cried, when you went and sulked, when you fell into depression. Ask yourself, what if? What if you could do the thing that you always wanted to do? What if you could actually build the physique you've always wanted to build? What if? And then go for it, man. Like, if this guy isn't an anchor point for you, that everything is possible for somebody who feels like they're just a piece of shit, who else could I find for you? Tell me in the comments. Who else do you need to see? Like, this is it. The guy was 300 pounds. Couldn't run. Now every single time you see him on social media, he's running. Like, and he's built like a Greek god. What else do you need to see? See, the problem is, I think, with a lot of people is that we do ask the question, what if? But the problem is, it's like where we are and the what if are so far apart. And I think everybody knows that there's going to be a whole lot of suffering. There's going to be a whole lot of shedding of bullshit that you are currently doing. People that you're around. There's going to be a whole lot of shedding. There's going to be a whole lot of suffering. There's going to be a whole lot of battling. There's going to be a whole lot of stumbling. But man, it's worth it. It is. The only reason that that people don't do it, or you're questioning whether it's worth it because you see all this suffering, is because you can't fully see the person who's on the other side. That's why I say to people, write it down. Write down who this person is that you want to be. Write it down as clear as you can. Print out a picture of whoever has a ripped body and stick your head on top of it. And hang that in your room. Just start seeing them. Start seeing that person as clear as possible. Because then once you connect that person, once you start connecting with that person, the vision of that person, then you'll be able to go through the suffering easier. But the suffering and the uphill and the battling, it's not going to go away. That stuff is not going to go away. There's not going to be a day where it's like, oh, coast is clear. It's all easy. I can just walk through. It's a beach. It's never going to be like that. It's always going to be a dark forest. There's always going to be logs and sticks and things in the darkness. There's always going to be that. Always. But man, but what if? What if you make it to the other side? What does that look like? Because you know what it looks like now. You know what now looks like. You know how it's been. And if you're not happy with it, it's like, why not go through all that to be on the other side of all that amazingness? Why not? You're already, like Eric Thomas, he always says, he's like, you're already crying. He's like, you're already in pain. Why not get a reward for it? You're already in pain. You're in pain sitting still. So why not just move towards whatever it is you think you should be doing, or the person you think you should be, and go through pain? Either way, you're going through pain. You might as well get a reward at the end. Man. Whew. Goggins. Goggins on my shirt, man. This isn't the only shirt I have with his face on it. This is episode 1080. David Goggins, Joe Rogan Experience. I'm out. Let's go. Oh, I love this guy.